Assalamu alaikum. I hope you're all having a great Ramadan. This video is about a question that gets asked a lot in Canada and in US as well, whether it's okay to have one credit card so you can build credit history, and then credit history is considered a necessity because how else are you going to do anything here? And a lot of times I've seen in response to this question, I've seen scholars say that it is okay to have a credit card because there's no other way around it. Um, However, I recently watched a video of Mufti Tariq Masood saying that even if you have a credit card and let's say you're paying it in full, so you're not getting any interest accrued, but you're still in an interest based contract, because when you sign up for the credit card, you are signing up for the fact that if I'm not able to make the payment on time, I will be paying interest on it. So hence you are agreeing to pay interest, and that's why people get confused here, and then this question comes up. The reason why this question comes up a lot is because the entire economy is working on credit history. So if you don't have credit history, you're not going to be able to get anything. So what do you do? What's the workaround? In my opinion, since in the past I have worked in the bank, and I've seen many credit reports, both Equifax and TransUnion's, um, the reason why I mentioned that is because when I'm telling you this is coming from a fact based of, like, on being, since I've been on the other side, I can tell you for sure that there's no need for you to have a credit card to build your credit history. If this is all the reason why you're having a credit card, there's no need for you to have a credit card. Secondly, I wanted to dissect it in a way of some frequently asked questions that get hop around, or that I've heard in my time in banking, is that you need to have a credit card because even if you go to rent a place, they will ask you for a credit check. In my time in Canada, I've always lived in places where I rented them. I don't own the place where I live, and I have hopped from 4 to 5 places. Nobody asked me for the credit check or credit report or anything like that, and it has never been an issue. And an easier way to understand this is when you are new to the country, and you go out and you rent a place. How do you come up with a credit history at that time? If somebody is able to give you a place at that time, surely you can find a place once you are more familiar with the country or the city where you live. So people say that, oh, I need to build my credit history so that when I'm renting a place, it's easier for me to provide the credit report. This is a completely bogus statement. You're just lying to yourself. So you need to wake up to the reality that this is not an actual requirement. Another thing that comes up is that if you don't have a credit history, how are you going to get auto financing or mortgage? Now, in my opinion, I'm no mufti, I'm no scholar, but in my opinion, mortgage and auto finance in itself is haram. So if you're going for that, then don't worry about getting the credit card. So that question becomes irrelevant then at that point if you are looking to get a mortgage, or if you're looking to get auto financing or loan or line of credit. So I'm not going to talk about that because it's very self-explanatory. Other question that I used to get asked a lot is that in order for me to build credit history, I need to do some spending. So what ends up happening is that everybody gets a credit card, and then they're being told that I need to do some spending so that I build some credit history. Once again, completely bogus claim. I've never seen anything like that. Yes, what would happen is that if you don't end up using your credit card for the 4 years or 5 year term, whatever expiry you have on it, the bank will automatically assume that you don't need it and it might not get renewed. But it has nothing to do with your credit history. Another thing that I've heard a lot, which is complete myth, is that when you do spending on your credit card, do not pay it in full. You need to pay it in half, or you need to pay less than the full amount, and then that way your credit history will build up. This is once again, a complete myth. Nothing like that. You can pay your credit card in full if you absolutely have to have a credit card. Another thing that becomes a problem, or that people ask, is that if I don't have a credit card, how am I gonna buy tickets online or do any transactions online? The way I do transactions online is my bank has given me a debit card, which is also a Visa debit. Visa debit works exactly the way your credit card works, unless this website specifies that it will not allow a Visa debit, which I would say maybe less than 1% of the websites will do, because at the end of the day, they just want your money. And Visa debit is working the same way, so there's no difference for them. You can just use a Visa debit. Just use that, do the transaction. The money is in your bank account. It's going from your bank account to the merchant. there's no need for you to use or to even have a credit card in the first place. Another thing that comes up is that there are a lot of places where you just, let's say you're booking a hotel, you have to put up an authorized payment. Could be $100, could be $200, depending on whatever money they want to authorize for security. An easier example is when you're fueling up. If you just pay at the gas station or at the pump, if you just tap the card at the pump instead of going inside and paying by the cashier, the pump will most likely authorize a higher amount than what you're actually fueling up for. Once again, I mean, this is an easy thing that you can get around. Just go inside and make the payment. And if you're not sure how much you're fueling up, like you can go and just fuel up first and then go inside. Especially in Canada, it's very easy to do. It's not like in US where you have to pay in advance and then you go and fuel up. In Canada, you can just fuel up and then whatever exact amount you have, just go inside and make the payment. It's not that big of a deal. If you absolutely have to have, I can't think of a transaction right now, but if you have to have a transaction where the Visa debit will not work, there's no other workaround, what do? You can still get a prepaid card. There are ways to get around it, and also at the end of the day, realize that you're doing this to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it's a transaction that you have no way around, even the prepaid card will not work, nothing will work, then maybe you're not supposed to do that transaction. Think before proceeding to get a credit card and saying, oh, it's okay because I heard so-and-so saying that it's okay to get a credit card. Understand that a lot of scholars don't understand how banking works. They don't understand. They are an expert in the field of religion. They may be an expert in the field of fiqh, but they may not understand how the banking works. There are a lot of documentaries that you can find online on YouTube. If you have access to Netflix, there's a very good documentary on Netflix that shows you why credit cards are not good for the economy and why, because of us using credit cards, everybody ends up paying a higher price. Even if you're paying in cash or debit, the chances are that the product you're paying for is higher because the credit card involves a merchant fee. And as a result, all the stores end up putting that, they pass that price to the customer. So you end up paying a higher price. So even when you are paying your credit card in full and you're assuming that this is good, you're still hurting the economy. So credit card is not a good thing, even if you put a religion aside. Now, having said that, credit history, again, is a complete myth. What I believe in is that instead of working on your credit history, you should work on your character history. Your character should speak for itself. If you are already, let's say, living in a place, you need, one of the arguments that comes up a lot is that I need it for renting a place. If you already have a very good history of where you're living and your landlord can verify, can vouch for you, the other person where you're moving to will have no problem giving you the place. And if that person absolutely needs a credit score or a credit history or credit report, then maybe that place is not good for you. Take it as a sign that maybe, it's not going to work out for you. So these are some of the questions that I get asked a lot. So I thought I might make a short video and just answer that. Hopefully this helps. Once again, understand the fact that you are doing this to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to please, and just another person. And again, you're not doing this to please or to show off to your friends or something. This is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if it is haram, it is haram. It doesn't matter, what one person thinks or what the other person thinks. If it's haram, it's haram. It's as simple as that. Once again, if you have any questions that I might not have cleared up, please feel free to put it in the comments, and inshallah I'll try to get back to you. Thank you. Jazakallah for watching.